Hey guys, welcome back, Luca here. And today I just want to talk about what do I think is the most risky tech job given that we have ChatGPT. So if you are someone who's interested in getting into tech, you might be wondering, what are some of the options? Of course, there are non-programming roles, such as the project management side, and then you have the cloud side as well, and then you have the software developers. So in this video, I kind of want to talk about what do I think is most at risk. The first one is definitely QA testing. If you are a test engineer, someone who write tests, help make features work correctly or help monitor if something's working by having weekend testing, building testing softwares, you will definitely be at a higher risk. Because these ChatGPT technologies with the introduction of Copilot of such, they can make generating test cases. They can make this process way more streamlined and making the human factor almost obsolete. So if you're someone who's thinking about becoming a test engineer, I would say like, hey, maybe right now is not the best time to become a test engineer because sooner or later these roles will be replaced by a lot of these technologies and it will be merged into the overall software engineer's job. So if you're a developer, you can expect to take on additional responsibilities if you haven't already on how to test things end-to-end, unit test, and smoke test. So a lot of these will be some things that will be added onto a general software engineering role. The second role that I think is very much at risk is the non-programming portion of a data science. So if you're a data scientist who's working at a company and your role may not require you to build models or anything, your job is purely to analyze and make sense of the data, then your job might also be at risk. And I would say that's not some of the best things that you can get into right now. For example, if I have a lot of data as a developer, I'm logging a lot of infos, I'm collecting a lot of user data legally, of course, and then I'm trying to make sense of the data. Now with the introduction of ChatGPT, it's very easy to feed all these knowledges and have the technical data scientists to build this framework that you can use to test it. And then the output, you can simply use these machines. There's going to be a Copilot version for these data science, and they can be generated into a human readable format. So of course, not all of these roles will be eliminated, but you might no longer need a team of non-technical data scientists. You might need just one person and they might be able to do a lot more than they could before. So of course, right now, I think that field is also very much at risk. And the next thing is actually very interesting. So right now, most teams have some sort of tech lead, some sort of architect, people who come up with these design patterns. But I think a lot of these roles will be combined into this GPT technology, whatever the company create for themselves or third-party B2B softwares. So a lot of these roles will become more available to developers. So I think a team may no longer require to have someone who's a tech lead, and they may no longer worry as much about a tech lead potentially leaving the team because you have some machine who knows just as much and who knows how to phrase things in a way that maybe can help people on board a lot faster. The next thing I want to touch on is the cloud engineering aspect. There's also a lot of roles in the cloud field where a person's job may be to help a customer onboard the API and help them set up their environment. And these roles will be replaced by a lot of these GPT roles or these new tools that can be created from this GPT. So for example, in the future, a customer will no longer need to talk to a human element to make sense of the API as the first line. They might be able to use whatever information is generated, and by pressing a button, they will be able to create their own cloud instance very effectively. And of course, you will still need sales engineers or like post-service engineers who can go deeper, but the entry-level elements will no longer be readily available. And the next thing I kind of want to talk about is the field. So if you are someone who's working on internal tooling, you can expect a lot of shift as well. Because the company might focus more on building these tools to increase productivity for their developer, or they can simply enroll in one of these B2B products that's like Copilot. And that kind of take away your job as an internal software engineers. So I think a lot of the teams will become smaller for the internal aspect, and they might rely more on these technologies or what new tools that will become available with the introduction of these GPT technologies. So definitely be aware if your team positioning is internal, definitely trying to understand what is this. Like, are you trying to build tools for the overall company, or are you just building something for a particular team? If you're just building something for a particular team, that's way more at risk than if you are building something for the whole company. Definitely be aware of that as well. So as you can tell from this video, a lot of these roles that are affected aren't necessarily someone who's extremely technical, because technical is still very, very important and it's still a key. Computers can generate boilerplate code really, really well, but it doesn't mean like you can replace a human element just yet. You will still need the human element, at least for the near future, to make sure everything makes sense and is following the same pattern. So I would say right now, full stack mobile developments are still very, very important fields. And of course, artificial intelligence, machine learning, any of these way more specialized fields that require technical skills are also very, very in high demand. And definitely keep an eye on those as well. And I would say a lot of times like these PM roles, the UX roles, and we'll also use a lot of these technology to help them from a day-to-day perspective. Of course, new roles will be created to fill in the gap between these UX PMs and these new tools that will become available to them. But right now it's hard to say like where are those being generated. Is it going to be internal or is it going to be a third party? So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope this was informative and shine a little bit of a light into a career pick. Let me know what you guys think and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.